Hello. So I was requested to do a soap demo. So I want to show you guys how I make my honey and oatmeal soap. So first, let's see what you're gonna need. So on the table, I've already weighed and measured my beef tallow. I have ready to go all the other oils I'm going to need. Castor oil, jojoba oil. Make sure all your oils are cold pressed. Olive oil. I need coconut oil. I use, and last and not least, corn oil. Now, you may think, well, why corn oil? And why do we want to use corn oil? Well, I'm going to tell you. As bad as corn oil has gotten for its reputation, corn oil is actually really good to hydrate and condition the skin. So, unfortunately, it is not a cold pressed oil, which is what you want. Most of your oils is cold pressed. That's the first press of your nuts. So corn oil is heated to get the oil extracted. But something to think about, because it does have benefits for the skin. So a few other things that you will need: some honey. I usually try and use local honey. This is not local honey, but it's what I have, so I'm going to use it. See, the ingredient says honey. It says where it comes from, so you can do your research. Need some old-fashioned oats. The good kind. You can actually use agricultural oats if you wanted to. And you're going to need some good old-fashioned vanilla beans. Now, you can buy these in the store in your spice section. I can tell you they're pretty expensive. They're like $11 to $12 for 2 beans. I bought this package off of Amazon, and I think it had maybe 6 beans in it, and I've had it for a while. Need some cinnamon essential oil. This is a steam distilled essential oil, so any oils you use, if they are not distilled or cold pressed, they are considered a fragrant oil. So keep that in mind. Need a bowl. Need a good scale. This is the one I use for everything. Measure everything. And a soap mold. Need, if you don't have distilled water, which I'm actually out and we're getting ready to go to Sukkot, so we're trying to limit what we buy. So I'm going to boil the water to make the lye solution. I have a Ninja I'm going to use to cut up my beans and my oats and put my honey and cinnamon mixture in. A crock pot for hot processed soap. I use this crock pot specifically for soap. Food does not go in it, because what does the lye do to it? Well, the lye likes to eat the pot. I go through a crock pot about once a year. Lye. This is the lye I like. They actually, I just found out, have a Food grade lye, I haven't done much research into that. I plan on doing it. This is the one I get off of Amazon. Be careful. It's poisonous. Keep it out of reach of little ones, dogs, cats, so on and so forth. One of the lyes you're going to see me use today is this one. It says 100% lye cuts through greases and sludges to clean out pipes. You can get this at Walmart for like $3. Again, we're getting ready to leave for Saco, go to Georgia. So I didn't have time to really order it. Today's the only day I have to get it. Do not use any other lye. If you're going to get a cheap lye, just something to play around with, this is the one you want. It's not the best, but it works. You need spoons and, of course, a recipe. No, I'll leave that there. This is my recipe that I'm going to be using to create our lye, or our soap, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and put you on the stand so we can start measuring everything. Okay, I think you guys can see now. So I have the beef tallow measured out already. I render my own beef tallow. I do not buy it. It's expensive to buy. It's easier to go to your supermarket and buy whatever. No, I'm sorry. It's easier to go to your local supermarket for like your like cut beef and stuff, and get it from them. They'll usually give you the fat for free from the beef, so you can just go to whatever local supermarket and say, hey, I need so many pounds of beef fat. I will tell you a short amount of like a couple pounds of beef fat will render several ounces of beef tallow. So if you just want to render 16 to 32 ounces, you probably only need a couple pounds of beef fat. So got my recipe. So we're gonna weigh out all of our oils first. I zeroed out my scale. Probably should show you guys that. So here's your scale, and you want to make sure it's zeroed out. Sure it's pounds to ounces. Zero it out. There we go. Okay, now I usually start with my small oils, such as my castor oil and jojoba oil, because I only put an ounce of that in. So measure out 1 ounce of castor oil. Put it in your bowl. Now, some oils are liquid and some oils are weight-based, so please measure accordingly. If your liquid oils are liquid, they are not solid, measure them appropriately. The jojoba oil, I'm going to do 1 ounce of it. I'm using just a little 1 ounce shot glass to measure them. Now we have weighted oil. So this is the coconut oil I will be using. This is your 96-degree coconut oil. There is a difference in the amount of lye you have to use. Now, why is that important? That is important because if you use a 76-degree coconut oil, and you put 96-degree coconut oil, then the problem you're going to have is your soap is going to turn out lye heavy, which means you could possibly get lye burn if you're not careful. So please make sure when you're making your soap, you know what oil you're using. The 96-degree coconut oil that I'm using here, I have to get it out of the jar, is a lot harder than the 76-degree coconut oil. Most of the time, it'll tell you oh, I lied. This is 76-degree coconut oil. It'll tell you what the degree is on the back of the coconut oil. So make sure you know, so you don't end up with lye heavy soaps. I do all mine at a 76 degree. So we need 8 ounces of coconut oil. Oh, and our thing just turned off on us. Be careful of that. Zero your scale back out. There's all kinds of noise today. So 8 ounces. Sometimes it takes a minute. I weigh out my coconut oil with the weight because I use it in the hard form of it. It's not always easy, but we get it. So 6.5 ounces. 6 ounces, okay. I just need so there's 8.2 ounces. So use our hands. Try to be exact as possible. Sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes it's very challenging. There we go, 8 ounces of coconut oil. We have 6 ounces of olive oil next. Getting your olive oil to top first, cold pressed olive oil. I have a 1 cup 8 ounce measuring cup. I'm going to measure it out with because it is a liquid oil. Okay, we're gonna say that's about, oh look right there, it says 6 ounces. Sorry, my Coda is barking at the alarm. I hope that doesn't bother you. So 6 ounces of coconut oil going in. Olive oil, sorry, 6 ounces of olive oil. Okay, then our last oil we need to add is going to be our corn oil. Again, this is not a cold process. This is not, it's a very generic oil. Like I said, I do believe it has to be heated in order to create the oil. However, it still has its uses. If you don't like corn oil, you don't have to use it. What makes this soap is not necessarily the oils you use. I will tell you, this is probably one of my family's favorite soaps to use with sensitivity. Everything else, this soap really moisturizes. It really makes your skin feel good. It helps with eczema. It helps, you know, just nourish your skin all together. Okay, so all of our oils are weighed out at this point. So you're going to take your handy dandy spoon. And we're done with the scale for the moment, so we can turn that off. Let me see if I can turn you over here. There you go. Now you can go to the crock pot. And turn the crock pot so you can see what's going on. You're gonna turn it on high. Okay, because that is gonna start heating up. And you want your oils to be warm when you put the lye into this. So this is our cooking spot. So take all your oils you just weighed and measured. If I can show you what we got here. It's our tallow, our coconut oil, our castor oil, our jojoba oil. See that? So you can tell the difference in. That's the tallow, that's the coconut oil. So we're going to put that in our crock pot. I always try and scrape out as much as I possibly can. Because you just weighed everything, the measurements. This is, you know, you're going to lose a little bit every time. That's okay. Okay. Now, all that's in our crock pot. Crock pot is on and heating, so it's going to take just a little bit while in our crock pot to get it all melted down. Wiped off as much as possible. And that empty jar there. Okay, now we're going to come back over to our measuring. We're gonna get ready to prepare our lye. So we will be right back. can't let that water cool. Okay, so I've started adding the lye in here. I don't know, can you see the steam? That is what I call kimming off. The lye heats up the water. And add it very slowly. This gets too hot, you'll get to a boiling state. Make sure all the crystals are dissolved, not light water. That is boiling. Steam's coming off of it. It's all those chemicals. You can try and break the rest of those crystals free. They're down there. Okay, now it's still steaming, so we're going to leave it out here to continue to kim off and cool down. And then I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to mix the lye and the oils. Okay, so take the lid off so you guys can see. All of our oil is melted. All of our hard oils are melted. It's nice and hot. Nice and hot. Now, a rule of thumb is you want your oils and your lye to be within 10 degrees of each other. Whether you're doing cold process or hot process soap, you want it within 10 degrees for a good quality of soap. And you're going to slowly pour your lye water into your oils And use your spoon and mix. Because you want your lye to be incorporated. I hope you guys can see how that's changing colors when you put the lye in. I really like the golden look of it. Let's continue. This solution is going to be what's known as a caustic solution. Only for a little while for the hot process soap. Because we're going to cook it through the gel phase. If you're going to do cold process soap, at the point in which you get this in, you can then bring it to trace, which is like a pudding thickening, with your spoon, which will take a while, or your immersion blender. Put it in your mold, and then you let it sit for no less than 4 weeks. So it can sit through the gel phase rather than the hot process soap where we are going to cook it through the gel phase. We're just going to stir it, and then you can let it sit. You can continue stirring. When it gets to an applesauce stage, I will come back and use my immersion blender, and I'll show you that process. So right now, this is done. Our caustic solution is done for our hot process. So again, keep in mind everything that you see me using for the lye and for this process I use only for soap. Okay, so see how beautiful that is? It's a very beautiful, beautiful color. So we're gonna put the lid back on that. Have that there. Then our next step. So let's see, we're gonna go back over that way. Yep, the camera to turn. Here we go. I have my Ninja. Here's my cup that I'm gonna be using. It's got a little bit of water left in it from washing it out, so let's dry it. Always clean everything before you make your soap. I cook my soap on a high heat. Sometimes it gets too hot and it starts to lava. So if you're going to do hot process soap, please, please, please make sure you keep an eye on it. Don't start it and go to the store or anything else. You will come back with soap everywhere. Believe me, I know. We've had to clean up multiple lava. So your vanilla beans. Here are my vanilla beans that I use. Get them out of the package here. I like to keep everything packaged up. They smell so good. Here is a bean. we're going to use half of this. We're going to cut it in half. So I usually, not the easiest things to cut either. Now you put half a bean back. Now if you don't know either, if you happen to buy some vanilla beans and you have 5 or 6 in a package and you're only going to make soap like once, or you just want to do it for fun, I'm going to tell you some really cool stuff you can do with these. So I make my own vanilla extract because I don't like the imitation stuff. I don't like the stuff at the store. This has been a year old. I actually have to make more. This is vanilla extract. There's 2 or 3 beans in there. What you do, you take one of those big beans that I just showed you. Just tape it back up. And you're going to slice it down the middle, long way. So you take a bean, you're going to cut it this way and open it up so all the beans will fall out. Put it in the jar of your preference, whether it's, you know, a mason jar or a pretty little jar like I have, or something more, something else. And then you're going to want a high content of alcohol, such as, this is the one I use, Everclear. You can use vodka. You can use, you know, just a high potency of alcohol. You pour that over your beans and let it sit to get your vanilla extract. And you will have a good, I don't know, let's see all the beans in there? They're all vanilla beans. And that's where you get your scent from. All those little seeds. And so just a little fun fact for you. So we're going to cut up our bean, because we're cutting it, like, I'm not really particular on the beans because the beans are going to come out because I'm going to blend it. However, see if you can see all those little beans on that knife. These are all where your sense of your vanilla comes from. We need 8 ounces of your oats. Use this, the old-fashioned oats. Good for the skin. I don't know if you've ever heard of oatmeal baths, but so you have 1 cup of oats. Then you're gonna have your vanilla bean. Like that. You're gonna have, well, we're gonna mix this first. So put my cap on it. I'm gonna blend this up in my Ninja. Let you guys watch. It's gonna be loud or not because it's not plugged in. Let's plug it in and then it'll be loud. Okay. Get it as powdery as I can. spicy. It smells good. I've actually had people that I've given this soap to, and people smelt it and thought it was a cookie, and the person actually had to tell the person not to eat it. So please, it is not a cookie, but it smells like one. Okay, you're gonna do 1 ounce of honey, into this mixture. Just let it all run into those oats. Then your essential oil. You're going to put, my recipe says 1.5 ounces. Now I would like for people not to die from the smell of cinnamon, because this is like pretty strong. So we are probably only gonna add about that much. Now if you want to put, if you really like the smell of cinnamon, you really want it to be a potent smell, I mean, go for it. However, I have animals, I have kids, I have a husband with sensitive smell. He's at work today, so I don't really want to kill everybody in my house with essential oils today. I'm making multiple batches of soap. And I'm just gonna stir it into my oats. Make a little mash out of it. And have it ready to go into my soap. Now this is not part of the soap making process. These are what you would call an additive, because it's something that's being added in. That I feel like a lot of people see additives and preservatives, and which is why I only put what I put in my soap. I don't use those phrases because a lot of people think chemicals or bad stuff, and it's just not good. However, if you understand additive just means, you know, what's added into it, or a preservative, you know, honey is a preservative, salt, sugars are all preservatives. Oils are a preservative naturally by the way it's created. So just something to kind of think about. But I want to get this into a good mash, because what's going to happen when we put it into our soap is that hot is going to melt it all. But I want it to be all combined, and all the scents combined before I put it into my soap. So you'll have vanilla, cinnamon. Cinnamon's really potent. And the oats. Plus your oils. Okay, so we've mixed and mixed and mixed. We got our mash ready to go. It smells delicious. I might put a dab more honey in there because I want to smell that honey. Hopefully that cinnamon will waft off a little bit. I've heard several different arguments about putting stuff like this in the soap as far as when to do it, when not to do it. What I know is high heat will kill your essential oil. It will heat the oil up so high that it will no longer heat. So what I do is I wait until the gel phase or the mashed potato phase, and then I will add all of this in. So in the meantime, I'll just put my little cap back on here, and it will sit there now and wait till our soap is ready to have it added in. Each batch of soap can take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours depending on what you're doing with it, what you're not doing with it. If you have any type of oil in your house, and you have $3 or $4 and you want to go to your local store and get some of this, and boil up some water and, you know, start making it. One thing that most people have in their house, it's pretty cheap, if you don't have olive oil, is actually milk fat or butter. You can make soap out of butter. I might do a demonstration on how to do that later, maybe down at Sacote. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So yeah, olive oil is pretty cheap. Your butter is probably pretty cheap if you don't want to. I know the dollar stores have a lot of oils. Please be careful with those oils. I've been to Dollar Tree, I've been to Dollar General. I went and looked at what's in their oils. They're not always 100% those oils. Another thing I was going to tell you about, you know, Everclear or vodka, you can actually make your own spritz with it. You can do Everclear, about 30 to 60 drops. Well, in a 2-ounce bottle, you probably want 30 drops. Add more if you want more of your essential oil. And then you want to use a vitamin E, either wheat germ oil, or you can get the vitamin E tablets. Do not use the vitamin E liquid form because there is soy in it. So I don't think it will do the same thing. But you add those kind of together. In your little jar and let it sit. Let the alcohol kind of consume all of the oils for, I don't know, 48 hours maybe. And you can make your own body spritz that is not going to essentially harm you. Don't spray it on your body. It will dry out your clothes due to the alcohol, but you can spray your clothes before you put them on. I've been working with a recipe for a spritz with water, but that has to set for like 6 to 8 weeks. So that takes a little bit of time. I'm still kind of working on that recipe. However, I cannot sell these things. That's why I'm telling you what to use. Because it's illegal for me to sell alcohol when I have to use the ethanol alcohol in order to give you these products. And the ethanol alcohol is not the best in the world to be breathing in. So And then with your Everclear, your vodka, you can also make your own mouthwash. You're going to want about an 8-ounce jar. You can put a clove, a cinnamon stick, bay leaf, add whatever favorite other spices and herbs you want to in it, in an 8-ounce jar. Fill it up with alcohol. Let it sit for, 1 to 2 weeks. I've let them sit for up to 8 weeks. Then you're going to dilute it. So then after you've let it sit for X amount of time, then you're going to take your little 8-ounce glass and you're going to pour it into, I think I use a quart jar, and then I fill it up the rest of the way with water. And that's what I use for mouthwash, because the store mouthwash also uses the bad alcohol for you to put in your mouth. So just a couple of things that I wanted to kind of throw out there for you guys to be able to do. Hopefully once I get this video up, I'll be able to give comments. So if you guys wanted demos of more, but let me bring you back over here to the crock pot. So it's kind of bubbling.